Banner of Command is amazingly good. I don't see any reason to buff that item, honestly. Zerat Portal, I guess they're buffing it. I don't know, I haven't read the changes yet, but I don't know what they could be possibly improving on that item either. The only thing that would make it, that would completely break it, is add health. Alright, so this is going to be our first game of the night. Going to get underway in just a second here. For those of us who are just joining, or for those of you who are just joining, welcome to the LowElo stream. My name is Stretch. I will be hosting your shoutcasted 5v5 matches tonight between you all from the LowElo chat room in the client or within the Twitch chat here. If you would like to get into the next game, go ahead and join the LowElo or LowElo 2 chat room from within your client. That is going to be where I pick people up for the next game. Tell your friends about us. You know, get more people in here, because the more the merrier. I tend to find with this stream, the more people we can get in here, the more different playstyles we get to watch, the more fun the stream can get. It is all good. Okay, so it looks like that LXTT is actually George P. Burdell, aka the president himself. Alright, so we're getting into the game in just a second here. Still upset that I can't get my SMG song thing to work. Alright, so I accidentally closed my Twitch chat. Jeez, I'm an idiot. A couple things I want to touch on real fast. Playstyles of the two teams. I try to get this every time we go into one of these. The things that these teams are going to want to do in order to make this game work for them. Basically, global plays for Red are huge. They want to make sure that they try to create Shen to be this enormous threat that multiple people have to deal with in order to take down, and then use that global pressure to draw 2-3 people up there to take him out, and then use that to force down turrets and dragons on the other side of the map. So I think global pressure is huge there. They can even go for a hard engage style of play if the Hurricane decides to go for the coin, which typically we don't recommend, but I've starting to slowly come around to that item. What I typically don't like on the coin is the fact that you don't get as much gold generation on these range supports that you can get with Frost Queen's Claim. I mean, the first little piece of that Frost Queen's can generate so much gold for you in the early game that it's just so worth. So what I would say is, if you can go for that early piece of this Frost Queens, then switch over to the coin later in the game. They can go for a hard engage pick comp, utilizing that Annie in the mid lane, and then just kind of dump tempers on people and knock them down very, very quickly. So that is something they want to look for as well as an option for winning this game. Let me get these guys lined up real fast here. That looks about right. All right, so. Blue team, though, what they're looking to do is essentially just brawl. They need Hecarim to go in first on some of these team fights, whether it be just straight up that E galloping in nice and quick, and then straight into his ulti as well, able to close that gap and fear people and slow them in place. What you want to do is basically get Katarina to a point where she can get that one kill and start resetting off of the rest. So they need to get significant early burst, either with a blitz hook or with a good Hecarim ulti where he actually lands the E contact damage off of Devastating Charge right here, because it does so much in the late game. And then just burst that one guy. It's going to be difficult for Katarina to stay near that Hecarim unless she's looking to come off from the side. If she can get that sort of positioning, she'll be golden. But they just want to play off that Katarina reset for the most part and do as much as they can to get her snowballing. Hecarim can get huge in the late game as well. He scales very, very well in terms of damage and tankiness, considering that part of his tankiness comes from the amount of damage that his team does around him. So he can do so much work in the late game with just a few tank items, maybe just even a Iceborne Gauntlet and a Spirit Visage, and then the rest DPS. Something like that would work very well. Typically, people are a little bit hesitant to get that Iceborne just for the sheer fact that people love Trinity on him, but it is an option. So we'll see how Crazy Phil decides to build that out and see what route he decides to go. Mid lane, it looks like Plat Senpai is going to play very forward in this lane. That's what he wants to do, considering he's got that huge auto attack range advantage there. He wants to lay down a huge amount of pressure on Ninebreaker as much as possible. Pole lands in the bottom lane, though, as Chowsy the Bouse gets some good auto attack damage down onto George P. Bradell, and it looks like George P. is going to be put on the back foot from the first seconds, the first couple of minion deaths he arrives in lane there. Karis McDuff just doing a great job to make sure he lays down constant auto attacks to stack up that explosive charge from Trist and really get some good quality early damage off there. Lucian is typically somebody you want to be wary of in the early game because of his early pressure off of Piercing Light and the double shot passive, but if you're able to get pressure like that down immediately, it doesn't matter who you are. If you get chunked like that, you're gonna be hesitant on making any sort of aggressive moves here. So Brush is warded, good flash forward from Chouse the Boss, gets the knock up there. First Blood is picked up by a blue team with a fantastic aggressive Blitzcrank play and very safe as well. Chouse the Boss realized he didn't need to go for a hook there. He just needed to get in, get the knock up CC, and then let Triss do the rest of the work. And that's what he got done. Mid lane, Plat Senpai is getting ganked out by Dayton, but he's going to pick up the kill on Ninebreaker before he actually goes down. Good on him to salvage that play and make the best out of it that he could, but a little bit too aggressive being that far pushed up without his ward down in the brush. And it was off cooldown as well, so he needs to make sure that he gets that ward down at least somewhere before he pushes up that far. That way he can kind of phase towards that safe area that he's created for himself with that side vision in the mid lane. But either way, well played on his part to make sure that he can pick up that extra kill. Good pull comes out of Chouse the Boss there onto George P. Bradell. I think he takes 2 turret shots there in return. Nurricane doing a good job of making sure that she keeps those auto attacks down on Carrots McDuff and make sure that he doesn't fully commit, because he does put himself in danger of going down to the 2v1 once he closes that distance, and Blitzcrank isn't able to get in to also get auto attacks down. A lot of AD carries make that mistake, myself included, putting themselves in a position where their melee support can't get in to help focus target, and then they get out TPS'd and they wonder what happened. So checking on top lane here, Lemuel is pushed under turret fairly deep here. He's going to be having a pretty rough time considering that Shen is not typically the best character you want to have in terms of last hitting under turret, and I think Crazy Phil recognizes that little bit of last hitting deficiency that Shen's got. It really just comes from a lack of damage, but he's gonna need some help from either the mid laner in Plat Senpai or their jungler. Solus Pizza really just farming up right now, trying to get strong on his own before he goes in for some of these ganks, but he's gonna have to make some sort of pressure happen in this top lane, or Shen's gonna be borderline useless. Looks like though Plat Senpai is roaming up to the top side of the map right now. Lemuel didn't quite bait out this fight as well as he could have. He could have gone a little bit more aggressive, but it looks like Plat Senpai is just going to lay down a little bit of pressure. He gives up farm to do this, but this is the sort of thing that you need to do as the mid laner. Show up to these side lanes, get pressure down. Even if you don't get the kill, you need to let that top laner know that you see what's going on and you will respond. Otherwise, they'll keep doing it full force with no second thoughts. Crazy Phil might keep doing it anyway, knowing that Annie has to return back to the mid lane, but you need to put that thought in their mind that, hey, ganks exist. Ganks do happen. Good jump in comes out from Ninebreaker there, just dodging out of that Incinerate cone to negate that damage and then getting the spin off to get right back out. Well done on his part. But looking at the gold values so far, blue team looks like it's 1k up, and that's basically just farm values right now. You've got almost a 20 farm lead down in the bottom lane. You've got a 20 plus farm lead up in the top lane. Mid lane's decently even. Katarina is 6 farm down from an Annie, but considering the difference in the amount of range that there is, that's to be expected, as long as that Annie is playing the lane correctly. Pre-6, that lane's going to look pretty rough. Even post-6, it's going to be a little bit iffy, considering how many stun chances Annie's going to get. So Lemuel getting taken very low here. I'm surprised Crazy Phil hasn't already ulted and ignited him, because he could easily pick up this kill. It looks like Skarner's going to show up in the top side of the map, though, and look for a gank. He comes directly into lane. Solus Pizza is going to slow down Crazy Phil and look to try to get the passive stun off. The devastating charge comes out. He turns around for a little bit of BM there, but he's going to get out nice and safe. Even if he did get into a little bit more of a sticky situation, Dayton was there on Xin Xiao to make sure that he could get away safely. Good burst damage coming out of Plat Senpai there. That last auto attack should seal the burn damage. Looks like no, the potion will save Ninebreaker's life, and he's going to be able to walk back to base. Flash down from Ninebreaker, but the ignite down from Plat Senpai as well as the Tibbers ulti. That ulti will be up fairly soon, as that is not a very long cooldown. So it's going to be pretty much in Ninebreaker's favor for the time being. Another good pull lands down in the bottom lane for Chouse the Bouse. Now, Hurricane turns back around and goes hard on Carrots McDuff. Might get taken out here. Chouse the Bouse and Nura just trading each other's ADCs, it looks like they wanted to do. No, two heals get spent. It might be a double kill for Red Team. They don't quite pick it up there, as Carrots McDuff is able to jump out at the last second. Looks like a good ulti coming out of Hecarim here. That Onslaught of Shadows just not enough to quite close the distance. He is doing a fantastic job of holding the tower at aggro to make sure that Dayton can get out safely and just dive that. Well done. Very good team coordination coming out from Crazy Phil. Plat Senpai roams up to the top side of the map there, looking to try to clean up this kill. Chilling Smite comes out to give himself a little bit of a speed boost and slow down Plat Senpai, and that may be all he needs to get away. Moby Boots on Plat Senpai, though, I did not notice. Flash forward. It's not going to be enough damage, and it looks like Damon's going to bait out one flash and then get away for free. So Plat Senpai doing the best he can to try to have a lot of side lane pressure and jungle pressure on this Annie. He's got the Moby Boots purchased already. It looks like he's going to show up in the mid lane. He's going to proc the stun using the Incinerate on those minions and then blow the range stun on Ninebreaker. Ninebreaker taken low. It looks like he's going to be able to jump away to some minions. Solus Pizza goes very deep under the turret. He's going to burn down to that turret damage and that ignite, but they did pick up that kill and with an additional assist, so that might be worth it. Bottom side of the map, it looks like the Hurricane and George P. Burdell are just trying to hold their own in this lane. Good pull comes out once again. Jump in from Carrots McDuff, very aggressive. They actually use that knockback to push him back in. It looks like George P. is going to pick up a double kill here. Thank you, Shen, for ulting in that situation and keeping Nura's health high just a little bit longer, kind of forcing Blue Team to stay in the fight much longer than they were comfortable with, and that bought George P. just enough time to get that double kill. Well played. Very, very good map awareness from Lemuel. Solus Pizza trying to defend his own jungle here against Crazy Phil. Crazy Phil is doing a lot of damage to the Skarner, though, and I don't think Skarner's going to be able to hold his own. He's kind of kiting towards this red buff as well. I think he realizes that there's no way they can get away from this. Solus Pizza actually smites the red buff for a little bit of HP, but it's not going to be enough to keep him in the fight to where he can defend this red. He's going to be forced out of his own jungle there, and Shen is now finally coming to respond. Onslaught of Shadows comes out from Crazy Phil, dives under the turret to pick up the kill. Now Plat Senpai shows up as well, looking to pick up maybe a redemption kill, gets the pickup. Now Lemuel's coming to the fight, misses the Shadow Dash through that little corner of wall there, but Hurricane gets the knock-up and the slow. Ninebreaker looks to be doomed here, and the last auto attack from Plat Senpai will pick up that kill. Annie, not quite the person you want to get that gold onto at this stage of the game. He's got those Moby Boots purchased, and it looks like he's going for what appears to be a Merlinomicon based on this Forbidden Idol purchase. That's what it's hinting to me. And that would allow his moves to be spammed very, very quickly. That Tibbers cooldown gets very low as well, and he can stun things just so often as well. Alright, so more lane pressure coming down. Annie's showing up down in the bottom lane. This is going to be a good fight for Red Team, it looks like, considering Plat Senpai's just now showing up. Good knockback from Carrots McDuff, though, keeps Plat just a little bit farther away. It looks like they are going to get the Tibbers, and the burn damage from the summon of Tibbers is going to get the last hit on that Tristana. Carrots McDuff just not able to quite get away with his life there. Top side of the map, a little bit of trading going down between Lemuel and Crazy Phil. Aggressive relentless pursuit coming out of George P. Burdell, just trying to put some pressure on Chouse the Bouse. Not able to quite make contact, but that's okay. So Dayton now showing down in the bottom lane. He wants to make sure that this Blitzcrank does not get dove by the enemy team. Maybe possibly set up a gank as well, as we saw Ninebreaker in the river. I believe that he peeked into the vision of Red Team as well, so may not be a possible gank anymore. Red Team now going to find this pink ward in this river brush and clear that out nice and quick. The Hurricane looking to potentially lay down a little bit more vision here in the river. Is this the Dragon Call? It looks like 3 members of Red are grouped up in front of that dragon. I'm going to just take a peek down here. Yes, they are going ahead and starting this up. I like this call a lot. It's very sneaky. Pings are going down on this dragon that, Blue Team's got no vision. They're like, is it getting done? Are they doing it? Yep, it looks like they might be able to pick this up essentially for free. Red Team walks away with a free first dragon at 12 minutes. You want to, the earlier you get that first one, the earlier you can get that 5th one, and that's when you really start affecting that late game. So good on them for recognizing that there was no lane pressure. There was no reason for them to really be sitting in those lanes, accomplishing nothing at the moment, and then getting that dragon is going to help accelerate their game for them a little bit more, putting them in the lead a little bit more beyond what the shown gold value is. Alright, so Plat Senpai looking for the stun down on Ninebreaker once again, can't quite find it. Crazy Phil now gets the devastating charge up. It looks like he's going to get some decent damage down onto Lemwell. I like this combination of items he's got here. The Merc Treads allows him to just negate some of that taunt duration and do more damage to Shen, considering Shen takes half damage when people are taunted. So it's going to just allow him to have a little bit better trading, as well as the magic resist, of course, doesn't help, when battling against those Qs in lane as well. So it's going to be a really nice purchase for him. He goes for the Onslaught of Shadows under the turret. I'm not sure if he can pick this one up. He needs that devastating charge to come back off cooldown. Nope, it looks like the Rampage will pick that up at the last tail, just the edge of the range there. So pull comes in from onto Ninebreaker. He tries to get to Plat Senpai. He does pick up the kill, flashes out of the turret, but he's not going to quite be able to get away with his lane. Dayton goes very deep here, almost dies to tower shots, and now it's going to be Crazy Phil trying to get Solus Pizza. Oh my goodness, Solus Pizza doesn't quite get Hecarim within the range of his Q to tag him to try to pick up a kill, but he does get away with his life and cause Hecarim to just die for free there. Right, Chouse the Boss gets the knock-up on the Hurricane, might be looking for the pull-in, doesn't quite take the opportunity, as he wasn't sure that Carrots McDuff was on the same page of that aggression. A good, safe move on him to make sure that he didn't put himself in a undermining situation that would allow him to basically just die for free. Alright, so Red Team pushing up a little bit more aggressive. The Hurricane gets pulled in, teleport coming in. It looks like it's going to be Hecarim with these home guards. That that dash comes through very, very quickly. Jump forward from Carrots McDuff, but it looks like Lucian will not go down right now. George P just able to escape here. Teleport now coming out from Shen. He's going to be in a 1v3. No, I take it back, a 2v3 situation. Dayton gets stunned there. Solus Pizza shows up from the lane as well. One kill gets picked up onto that Xin Shao, and now it's going to be pretty much a 5-man stack for the Red Team. Down to the bottom side of the map, I take it back, 4-man stack as the Hurricane was in base. Did my internet go out or something? No, I'm streaming. What? Or unless, am I muted? No. It's coming up that you can talk to me. Oh, I should probably take this off. No. Alright, so taunt goes down from Lemwell onto Carrots McDuff in the bottom lane. He just decides to rocket jump right out, seeing that the Hurricane was closing the distance. He doesn't want to put himself in a bad situation. Solus Pizza right on the back of this Ninebreaker gets the stun down. I'm not sure if he's going to pull him in. Yes, he will. They kind of stack the CC there, which isn't what you want to do, but it doesn't matter because they've got enough damage to pick up that kill. lot of roaming to this bottom side of the map right now. Red team really wants to push down this bottom lane outer blue turret, but in the process of all that pressure, Hecarim's up top lane, forcing the minions in, getting the turret down, and trying to maintain his dominance up in this lane. You see that he's got over double the farm on Lemwell, and that's going to mean that he's just able to do so much more in these fights. I mean, it doesn't look like he's got a lot of items, looking at his items compared to Shen, but having that half-belt trinity along with that, along with his Merchrids is actually very, very nice. Alright, so one more auto attack will pick up a kill in the bottom lane. Might not get it though, as mid lane, a lot of damage goes back onto Dayton, but it's going to be the Onslaught of Shadows once again from Crazy Phil that actually picks up that kill there. This Hecarim is starting to get out of control. He's doing so much damage, pretty much solo, that he's got to be super careful, or the enemy team's got to be super careful, otherwise they're going to lose this entire game to him. If he starts to get a little bit tanky after he finishes this item build, you know, after he finishes this Trinity Force, they're going to be hard pressed to take him out. Especially if he starts off with the magic resist, because I think the major threat on red team at the moment is this 8 and 4 Annie. Alright, Crazy Phil shows up, getting a little bit greedy for this fight here. Katarina shows up, good knock away from the Nurricane and ward over the wall to make sure that they don't lose sight through her. Ninebreaker gets held in place, but he's going to pick up a kill on the Nurricane. I think she got pinched in there between that fight and the red buff, and the red buff did some decent damage to her before she got picked off there. Alright, so mid lane push coming out here. Red team, Plat Senpai and George P look like they're going to pick up this turret fairly easily off the back of that jungle kill they got on Katarina. No one was there to defend, so they just knocked it over nice and easy. Mid lane, though, looks like Plat Senpai is going to get a little bit caught out there by Dayton. They stack their knockups there, Blitzcrank and Xin Shao do. He drops the timbers to try to take out Chaos the Bouse, but it looks like he's not going to get it. Lucian opting to not join that team fight there for fear of his life. And now blue team's going to be in position to take this dragon away. Red team does not quite want to enter it. It looks like Solus Pizza's just going to go for the damage straight away, and I like that decision altogether, but now Ninebreaker's in the mix, and he's able to get some decent damage down, gets the reset, 2 resets there off the kill on Skarner, and then on Lucian, top side of the map, Shen is still pushing in. He did blow his ulti to try to save someone in this team fight, but they got bursted down a little bit too quickly for him to arrive on the scene, so he just decided to stay up there and then knock that turret over. Considering that he didn't have any teleport summoner up as well, that's his only option in terms of responding to that play. Alright, so dash forward from Crazy Phil. He's going to chase Lemwell over the wall here using that Onslaught of Shadows once again. Lemwell flashes over the jungle wall once again to try to get away, but he's going to be met with a single Ninebreaker. Throws down the Death Lotus there to pick up that last tick of damage on him, and then that's going to be a little bit more gold in the pocket of this Katarina. Interesting build coming out. I like the safe purchases. Getting the Abyssal Scepter allows her to do a combination of aggressive and defensive stats that should give her the survivability she needs to survive an Annie ulti, but still be aggressive on these team fights. It looks like the Annie ulti has gone down on Chaos the Bouse. Ninebreaker can't determine if he wants to go into the fight, though. It looks like he's just going to walk backwards with Chaos. Carrots McDuff shows up. He's going to get a few auto attacks down on Solus Pizza. Solus throws the ulti down on a Ninebreaker, but he gets pulled in from Chaos the Boss, the guy they were originally trying to pick up the kill on. Uh-oh, Hecarim shows up, picks off the Nurricane, and now it's going to be Lemwell and Plat Senpai against Crazy Phil. Crazy Phil recognizes that Plat Senpai is much squishier than Lemwell, but he needs to get out of this fight pretty soon here. Dayton flashes in, but I don't know if he's got the stats to survive the amount of burn damage that this Annie is doing at the moment. I think it's taken out fairly easily. Ugh. All right, so right now it feels like Red Team was in the driver's seat of the game. Plat Senpai made some decent roams to keep his team relevant in the early game, rather than sitting in his lane and kind of saying, "Hey guys, why are you dying so much?" He went and made an effect himself. But right now, it looks like the potential for this Katarina snowball is getting very, very high. Not only that, but this Hecarim has been very dominant in the laning phase, and he's starting to become dominant in these team fights as well. He's got the magic resist. It looks like he's going to go for that Spirit Visage purchase we talked about early in the game, and that's going to allow him to get so much more sustain out of that W. If he can get that down, he can sustain or be a little bit more threatening in these team fights. And, it's going to do a decent job negating some of this anti-burst. Alright, Crazy Phil just chasing Soulless Pizza out of his own jungle, trying to keep it safe, keep it secure. Yes, Creeper Coffin, there's been more Victor. He saw some play in the NALCS scene, and he's been seeing play in Korea as well. And people in solo queue and normal games are just responding to that presence in the pro scene, I guess. I've always thought he's been a good champion, and I kept telling myself I was going to learn it. I just played too much Zac and ended up not doing it. But top lane, it looks like Crazy Phil's going to chase out Lemwell. Lemwell just forced to try to walk away from this fight as much as he can. He does have a Thornmail Sunfire pickup, so I feel like he might be able to turn around and at least attempt to fight Hecarim. But he's going to take the safe route and just get to his turret in case his team needs a little bit more assistance. Alright, Crazy Phil looking to try to get in and get some decent damage down on this turret. Explosive Charge goes off on Trist, but it looks like the Culling comes out looking to pick up some kills here. Dayton gets knocked over by the last double shot passive from George P. Burdell. The rest of Blue Team forced away by that initiate, response from the Red Team. Crazy Phil going back in, and it looks like the Katarina resets are going to come through as much as they can. Looks like it's not going to be enough, though, as George P. just does too much damage and is able to knock him over. Alright, so Red Team getting aggressive here. They're going to go and push up on this mid lane and try to knock it over. Carrots McDuff is just out of position a little bit too close. Gets pulled in from by the Skarner ulti, but now it's going to be Chouse looking for this hook here. He wants to try to get something done on that Lucian, but he can't quite get close enough. Instead, they are able to catch up to Lemwell. Red Team forced to leave him to die, even though he's living for a very long time here. That Sunfire and Thornmail purchase is just doing so much work for him in that fight. Bottom side of the map, it looks like Plat Senpai was trying to defend that turret, but couldn't quite get it in time. Get there in time. Alright, so 15 seconds before Dragon spawns, it looks like Blue Team is getting in position here. Trying to get this ward coverage and ward control down. Crazy Phil going to opt to base right now. He does have teleport and home guards ready to roll, so he can show up to this fight in the blink of an eye. Culling comes out to just push Blue Team away a little bit. Dayton caught all alone as Blitzcrank dipped off to the side, and he was a little bit too far away from the jungle in order to join him. So he's just going to get picked off right there. George P. Burdell caught up with Crazy Phil, though, when that Hecarim is doing a lot of damage at the moment. Hook misses onto Soulless Pizza, and he's going to still be able to get to Ninebreaker, but the Death Lotus combined with the Carrots McDuff Buster Shot is going to be able to pick up that last kill on Skarner before Katarina gets traded down. The Hurricane able to escape with her life after a decent knock-up on the way out, but the rest of the team not so lucky. Shen did survive. Actually, no, he was still dead from that last fight. Before that trade. Pause coming out here. I'm not sure what the situation is, but hopefully they fill us in. Gonna use this brief pause time to kick this cat out of my room. That way it doesn't end up shutting down my computer. I'll be right back. All right, pull in from the onto the Nurricane from Chas the Boss, but she's going to be able to get out of that one just fine. Crazy Phil now in the mix with Lemuel is forced to just back out of that fight because he's a little bit too close to turret. Looks like their ping issues have been resolved, so that's good. All right, so gold lead or gold differential fairly even here. You know, red team only 3K behind at the 26-minute mark. That is not very much at all. So they're going to be able to stick in this one fairly easily. And I think that if they can get a good grouping and get a good anti-ulti down, they should be fairly fine here. Yep, 9-breaker doing 9 things. 9 times out of 10, it's 9-breaker. Alright, so red team looking like they want to go aggressive, but they don't quite have everyone grouped up together. You saw Lucian down in the bottom lane, getting that wave pushing, and then possibly going to regroup here. Hecarim forced to kind of clean up this wave on the bottom side of the map. He does have home guards once again, so he can join one of these team fights at the inner turrets fairly quickly if he's already in base. The devastating charge along with those home guards allows him to join pretty much any fight he wants to. Chas the Boss gets the pull down onto George P. Burdell though, and it's going to be an easy kill pickup with the help of 9-breaker there. Carrots McDuff gets taunted out by Lemuel and loses half of his health almost immediately. He just does not have the stats to be able to fight the Shen at the moment. Pull in from Chas the Boss once again. Looks like Crazy Phil's going to show up to aid in this team fight, and it's not going to be too much of a team fight, actually. Crazy Phil dashes forward and isn't able to get the fear to make Lemuel walk backwards. There's just a little bit too much distance covered. Oh my goodness, the third pull in a row from Chas the Boss. It looks like he's going to actually pick up that, or get that kill pickup on Skarner, but there's a lot of turret tanking going on after that Annie ulti went down. Annie going to use this Tibbers to try to block, but gets pulled in, a fourth pull. This Blitzcrank is doing so much work, making sure that these guys get ripped into the middle of his team when they're least expecting it, when they are least ready. Just taking advantage of everyone's mispositioning so well here. George P. Burdell able to walk up and pick up a double kill before this turret went down. Blue just getting a little bit too greedy to try to knock this turret over, not recognizing when they should just leave off of a win and when they need to greed out for a little bit more. They get punished for it hard. Chas the Boss gets caught out in this brush, then Nurricane walks up and actually forces him to walk back a little bit farther. He's going to recall in this little bit of inner brush here in the jungle before he heads back to base to purchase what I assume to be, I don't know, maybe a sweeper? Upgraded sweeper, something like that? Looks like it's just going to be the base sweeper for now. Not quite the upgrade at the moment. The Nurricane does have one finished out and is looking to get a Lock into the Iron Solari. I like that pickup versus a Katarina because you need that AoE magic resist just in case you aren't able to interrupt her damage quite quickly enough. And also, that shield is so useful for saving people against Hecarim damage. So a huge amount of mitigation comes out of that item. Alright, so top side of the map, once again, we've seen this 1,000 times. Crazy Phil just walking into Lemuel, trying to force him back to base, and he is successful most of the time. And he gets a double kill pickup in the river there off the back of a good Tibbers ulti onto Tristana. Crazy Phil shows up at this fight though. It looks like Blue is going to try to 3v5 the enemy. I don't know if they're able to do it. Crazy Phil can't heal quite enough, and it looks like he's going to be forced to dash away from this. Gets stunned out though. Good taunt from Lemuel. Actually forces the devastating charge to push him back into the rest of Red Team. It looks like Red's going to go directly for Baron. I love this call. They've got the Tibbers up to help tank it and do some additional damage for a little bit longer here. This should be a decently easy pickup for them. Looks like Tibbers is actually going to go down before they can get that, a little bit of tankiness out of the bear, a little bit of additional damage from those auto attacks in the AoE as well. But looks like Red Team easily going to pick up this Baron. I don't think they should go for a team fight after this. They should just recall, look for the new item purchases and start walking down lanes with their newfound minions. Because the wave clear of blue team is very lacking right now. They don't have the Orianna, they don't have the Sivir, they don't have the Ziggs. The things that you want to have on your team to wave clear things very easily and very quickly. There's no, Xerath, those sorts of things. Maybe even an Azir. Maybe pre-nerf Azir, because he had some range to that Q, and it was really nice for just clearing out the waves nice and fast. You did have to walk a little bit closer than some of your other options, but it was very efficient and very quick in terms of knocking waves over. Alright, so red team going to look to try to pick up this next dragon here. It will be spawning right now. Carrots jumps over the wall into the middle of the enemy team, a little bit too overzealous to get this dragon take, and red team picks up basically a fully free kill. The size of these shields on George P right now are enormous, as he gets the Janna shield along with that Bloodthirster shield on himself. Alright, an Arcane shows up in the top lane trying to slow down Crazy Phil. He's a little bit too fast with that devastating charge, though. He's opted to go for the Randuin's route here. That is actually very, very good. It gives you a lot of utility when you get into the middle of the enemy team with your Onslaught of Shadows. It doesn't quite give you the cooldown direction you might want to have on a Hecarim, getting that ulti up a little bit more often and being able to spam Qs even faster. But in terms of tank items, that's probably the single best tank item in the entire game. In terms of just damage mitigation and staying alive. Alright, so a little bit of poke coming back and forth between teams here. Chouse the Boast looking for a potential hook. Red team going to back up and away from the turret because they do not want anyone to get pulled in there. Going to force it right back in once they've got the minions. Maybe they can get a couple auto attacks down on the turret, but I doubt that they'll be able to do it very efficiently just for the sheer threat of this Blitzcrank. He's been landing so many hooks in this game, and if he keeps it up, it's a good chance that he's going to win just because of the large impact in the mid to late game those hooks will have. Alright, pull comes out from over the wall from Chouse the Bouse, but it doesn't connect onto Soulless Pizza. He's going to be able to walk away fairly easily there. And red team needs to regroup as 4, get their Shen pushing up top. Looks like that's what they're planning on doing here. Flash pull in from Soulless Pizza. I like this a lot. Calling comes out and forces Ninebreaker to get very low. Dartom flashes in, looking for a potential kill onto the Arcane. Can't quite find it. Now it's Crazy Phil's turn to dive. It looks like he's going to get Tibbers and exhausted, and he's just not able to put enough damage out to stay alive in that team fight. Red just with a very disjointed set of engages there. First with, Xin Xiao going in after Katarina got hooked, then Hecarim at the tail end, really forcing themselves or causing themselves to lose more than they should have there when they could have just given up the Katarina kill and walked away. Alright, so red team looking to go to retreat through the enemy jungle, check their camps, make sure they don't have any interesting buffs up that they could possibly use for their own. And, yeah. Alright, so blue team just pushing out some of the waves here. They've got that middle inhibitor down still, so that's going to auto-push quite a bit. I'd say that red team wants to start looking towards these sieges. As their Lucian gets more and more strong, his culling is going to be very, very good for forcing people off the turrets. Just being able to throw it out there and saying, hey, if you eat some of this, you're going to want to not teamfight me. Especially if he's very good at actually keeping it on a person. You can take someone down easily to 10% HP with a single culling. Calling in Ardent Blaze, anyway. A little bit of a disconnect coming out here, so pause is initiated. Alright. Dayton forced out of his own jungle there. Red team just being so aggressive right now. They're able to step forward really, really far and try to just get some of these aggressive plays down. Souls Pizza in a 1v3. They didn't know it at first, but Ninebreaker and Dayton showed up at the tail end of the fight. I'm sorry, Ninebreaker and Chouse the Bouse. Something like that. Someone showed up late, and they didn't know. Flash forward, knockup coming out of Chess the Bouse. Looking to pick up Platsenpai, culling from over the wall, does a decent amount of damage, picks up the kill onto Blitzcrank with a double shot from over the pit wall. And it looks like Carrots McDuff wants to lead the charge on the rest of this team fight cleanup. Can't quite close the gap even despite that rocket jump though. It looks like George P is just going to force this wave a little bit back and then get back to his turret. Alright, so blue team gonna force their way into the base here. It looks like a lot of sluggishness at the moment. People want to reset, they want to spend their additional money, they want to make sure that they get them as much vision control as they can. Carrots McDuff steals away the enemy red buff there. Good on him to do so. He's gonna use that for his own benefit. Just use it for a little bit more kiting, a little bit more damage, of course. Red team's gonna look for another sneaky Baron, but it looks like blue team's already knows what's going on. George P. Burdell gets very separated from his team and picked off immediately. Crazy Phil dashes in, forcing the Hurricane into the fight as well, and then uses the Onslaught of Shadows to help take out Andy next. That's most of the major threats down for Red Team. The Hurricane's been doing a great job keeping people alive in the game. George P. Burdell has really accelerated his damage lead, getting those additional kills in the mid to late. It looks like Souls Pizza tried to jump in and he tried to get over and get to the smite down, but unexpectedly pulled in by Blitzcrank and really just met his own sneaky, quick demise. Ping's going down that they should just take out this inhibitor, and I say that I kind of agree. Hopefully Crazy Phil can take this out for long enough. Looks like it's going to be no problem with the power of that new Tristana on his side. And they're going to knock over this inhibitor fairly easily. They're going to greed out a little bit too much here. I don't know if I agree with taking this bottom side turret because they might give up a Nexus turret to make it happen. And if they don't, even if they don't give up a Nexus turret, they're wasting a lot of time here considering the amount of minions that's in their base. Tristana's going to show up though and start clearing those out fairly easily. The passive on Explosive Charge is very nice for doing AoE damage to minions, and the active is pretty good. Alright, game's back live once again. Dragon's up, and it looks like blue team's going to be in position to pick it up, no problem at all. They're going to go ahead and knock this thing over. Try to get that 3 dragon buff rolling. That movement speed is very helpful in terms of sticking to people and getting good damage down. It also gives a tiny little minor damage buff to Hecarim, considering it is passive movement speed that is added. I am suddenly feeling very tired. I should have... Oh man, I gotta start sleeping better. All right. Red team doing what they can to hold out against these pushes from blue. Their middle inhibitor not quite up yet. It's a little bit rough for them, especially since they've got Baron buff on a couple members of the blue team. Hook does not land onto LowElo, and it looks like he's going to just be disengaging from this fight as quickly as possible as they push down the mid lane. Not too sure if there's anything for them in this mid lane, though, as they've already got the turret and the inhibitor. They might be much better off utilizing the pressure and going to a different side lane, pushing up and then rotating as quickly as possible to the next objective. That way they keep that pressure applied as firmly as possible. Alright, Super Siege may need to do its job up in the top lane, getting those holotechs down on that turret, and from super long range, of course. It wouldn't be the Super Siege if it wasn't a super long range minion. Pushed out on the bottom side of the map, though. Blue team just forcing in what they can here. Looks like a hook's going to come out and miss. Crazy fill up at the top side. Just realizes, hey, there's no way that LowElo can take me out. I might as well just auto-attack these things down with him directly in front of me and my back to my carriers, he said. How do I feel about Lucian's build this game? Trinity of Force is, it's decent. It's very reminiscent of the early Lucian build from when he first came out that I would go, which was Bloodthirster into Trinity Force. And that was basically because he thrives off of high AD builds, and Bloodthirster was the highest AD item that you had for marksmen at that time. But what I'm finding with things that say applies on hit effects, like for example Ezreal and Lucian, is it feels much more safe and a lot more healthy for you to go with a lifesteal build, at least on Ezreal, because his Qs can't crit. Lucian's half shot can crit, so he might have gotten more damage out with that Infinity Edge, but with the amount of damage that's flying around and the amount of dive potential that red or blue team has, it's a lot more safe for him to go for that Bloodthirster, and overall I like it. So Red Inhibitor is going to be up fairly soon here. I don't know if they can hold out against this siege, though. Blue team just seems to be so strong at the moment. The Tristana has reached max level, and that range is going to be enormous. Not quite what it was before, but of course, with the original E, or the additional E that she's got now, she can really chunk those. Turrets very quickly. Alright, Engage coming down here in the mid side of the map, or in the mid lane. Xin Shao barely walks away with his life. Lucian goes in with the calling and picks up a kill. Once again, bottom side, it looks like LowElo is trying to stop Crazy Phil from getting this this inhibitor, but he can't quite do it. He gets away. Yeah, and for those who think I sound bored, it's because I just got super tired. I don't have the energy. I haven't had dinner, so I'm running on fumes. The cheesy poofs, they do not empower me enough. I had them to help me tide over till dinner time, and then I started streaming because Will couldn't make it. But yeah, I'm starting to fall asleep a little bit in my chair here. I will close out this game though. Alright, so Dragon Fight goes down here. Solo's Pizza and Lemuel actually single out Dayton. I'm not sure why Crazy Phil decided to leave that. They're both very sustaining champions, and had they focused on Solo's Pizza, they may have been able to win that fight fairly easily, especially with the amount of just tankiness and sustain that comes out of that Shen Q. It looks like Lemuel's going to keep hitting this dragon when I'm not sure he should be. Hurricane shows up to make this a 3v2, and it looks like they're going to pick up that last that dragon once again. Crazy Phil in the base, just forcing these inhibitors down. That is his playstyle this match. Gets stunned out by Annie, but the ulti is going to come down and knock him down. Worth, this is what Worth looks like. I hate to say it, guys. I didn't intend for this to be a super short cast, but I don't know why I'm feeling so tired. And without a co-caster, this takes a lot of energy. Like a lot. I have to talk so much. Ugh. Alright, so Red Team going to look to sneak another Baron for themselves, pull in from Chest the Boss onto Hurricane, but I don't know if it's going to really matter too much. Turret goes down. Red Team is losing their Nexus turrets for this dragon. I'm not sure if Worth. The Red Team now has Baroned up minions, but it might be too late. Annie gets picked off in the middle of that team fight there, and it looks like Red's going to make it back in time to defend. I don't know if these super baroned up minions will be enough. Doing some work though. They're going to clear out these minions, what looks to be just fine. So many empowered minions here. Alright. Blue team trying to find a way to close out this game. Honestly, with the Nexus turrets down, they just need to group up as 5 and whack it. And they'll be golden. But they may get a little bit impatient here. Chouse the Boss, Dayton, and then Ninebreaker looking to potentially jump over the wall. Not going to quite do it though. They're wasting a lot of time here, not putting pressure on this inhibitor. I feel like they should at least threaten it while the enemy tries to clear out these minions away from the Nexus. There we go. Hecarim finally walks up towards it and gets it knocked over. They decide to back up as they do not have Carrots McDuff for their backline damage. They're going to let Red Team continue to battle off these triple minion waves, super minion waves. Alright. So, Red Team able to fend off the last push a little bit longer, but it feels like they're just defending against the inevitable. I'm not sure how much longer they can really hold out against these double super minion waves and the threat of Blue Team basically just walking in whenever they want. Blue Team really taking their time, though, to close out this game. I'm not sure why they haven't gone in and taken out the Nexus yet. They're all full health. I guess they're just waiting for Xin Chao to clear up that crab. Top side of the map, Katarina is very far forward, dangerously so, as Skarner comes up behind and looks for a potential fight. Gets pincered in between Plat Senpai and Soulless Pizza, but Hecarim shows up and does some super good damage to Plat Senpai. Throws down the Timbers in the middle of him to try to pick up a kill. Can't quite find it as the Death Lotus goes down from Ninebreaker. He gets the reset and jumps directly in on Soulless Pizza. Flash out from George P. Burdella away from Carrots McDuff, but Chouse the Bow says, no, I'm going to pull you right back into my ADC and provide another kill. I take it back. I'm going to take it for myself, and that looks like it's most likely the game. Alright. Let me do this. Let me go grab some food real quick and grab some drink. Try to produce a little bit of energy and then keep going because I don't want to end the stream early. That would suck. So I'm gonna grab some food. Give me a 5-minute break, and I'll be right back.